In a world that won't stop shifting, one thing remains constant: adapt or get left behind. Welcome to episode 2 of my series based on my book, Building Brands in a Suddenly Changed World, in which we decode new rules of branding, one chapter at a time. And today we talk about my chapter called No Boss. No boss has become the norm today, as opposed to the earlier norm, which was the yes boss norm, where it was considered perfectly normal for the employees to go into a company with the intention of yes bossing someone, identifying whom to yes boss and then yes boss that person to the top, or yes boss that person to just stay in the company, and for bosses to expect a yes bossing team. This has changed. Of course, there still are companies which constantly get called out in the social media. And this is where I want to talk about how this is actually a new rule of branding. Today, your brand building efforts and your brand reputation are not mutually exclusive. They are the same thing. So if your culture and the way your brand and business works has a bad reputation for whatever reason, it is doing a disservice to all your brand building efforts. So, therefore, the new rule of branding is to fix your leadership, fix your management, fix your organizational culture. Let's face the truth, there are still some of the biggest companies in the country and probably the world that do still have a very, what they call, toxic work culture, but those are not the ones that are going to thrive going forward. uh, they will, if they shift their culture. So if companies are still thriving, it means that they have shifted their culture. But the future, as my chapter says, uh, I'm just going to read out of it. If we see that we are fast headed to a world dominated by a Gen Z workforce, Gen Z clients, and Gen Z customers, we will not waste another minute to run a serious evaluation of our human resources, not just in terms of client satisfaction and domain experience, but mostly in terms of managerial and leadership styles. It's one thing to be an expert in your domain. That alone does not make you leader material. So if you're picking someone to be the leader, you need to invest in a separate training program as to for leadership. It's the same as teachers. Not all scientists are great teachers. Teaching is a separate matter and expertise is a separate matter. By scientist, I meant any expert. A great mathematician may not be a good teacher of maths. Teaching is separate, leading is separate from domain experience. And that's an area of clarity that companies need to have for. So there were classically three kinds of leaderships that if you studied about leadership, the autocratic leader is one, which is self-explanatory. The democratic leader, also self-explanatory, cultivates a team of motivated, efficient, and confident talent. And the third one was called the laissez-faire style, where the leader lets the team operate without interference. So these were the three kinds. I'm guessing there is a fourth one, which is an informal term called the toxic leadership, but the autocratic leader would come under that. And since the 70s, this concept has existed of the which is gaining momentum now, and it's called the servant leadership. That's right. The oxymoron is apparent. But the idea of servant leadership, which dates to the 1970s, argues that leaders have a duty to focus primarily on meeting their team's needs rather than their own for the larger good of the organization. So, the important part here is that you don't just need to invest in good training for good leadership for the happiness of your employees, but it impacts profits because it impacts bad brand reputation and therefore it impacts the brand. Because, like I said, they are not mutually exclusive today. People have access to information and people are not just following what you advertise about the companies, they are following everything else that's not advertised. So there you go. The core reason for investing in leadership training for any organization is not just to earn employee admiration, it is to help our business keep growing in the coming times. So that's the thing. The new rule of marketing branding is to fix your leadership as a means to build your brand. That's it. If you like this video, then do like, share, and subscribe. The next chapter episode is going to be about personal branding, where it's titled Every Person a Brand.